What is happening, people? Welcome back to Gooner Down Under TV. And real quick, if you're into all of that FIFA content, FC24 content, it's not gone completely. I'm just going to separate the two and create a new channel. So if you are into that, head over to Gooner Down Under Gaming. The link is in the description box below, just because I want to try and prioritize that a little bit more as well. I don't want to just do one video a week because it is really fun to make. So we'll be trying to get at least 2 videos out a week for you all. And, if you come over from this channel, let me know. Leave a comment over there saying you have, and I appreciate you all so much. But for now, we're going to get straight into today's video, and it is all about who should be starting for Arsenal, who should be sitting on that bench, who should maybe come in different times of the season. We're going to get into all of that good stuff today, and we're starting off with the goalkeeping situation. I sort of touched upon this in my last video. I think, we do have 2 good goalkeepers, but for me, we have to go with Ramsdale. I haven't seen enough yet from David Raya to sort of be like convinced from him or be like he should definitely be our number 1. Not to say that's the change, but I think he needs to earn his spot. I don't think he's done enough to sort of, take it, and I think he needs to sort of play maybe those cup games, put in some good performances, show us his kicking range a bit better, and then maybe he can start working his way back into that number 1 spot. For me, Ramsdale was the one that sort of got us to this dance. He was playing excellent last year. He was the sort of team of the season goalkeeper, and so we need to stick with that, I think. Raya has had already a few too many shaky moments for me, and I think we've got to go back to our man Ramsdale. With each of these, you may not agree, so please leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Love to have a conversation with you all in the comments section. Now, this is where not necessarily gets more controversial. We'll definitely get there a bit later on, but I think here it's a pretty standard back 4. We all know what we want. It's Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White. It wasn't what started the season. I'm not sure, it appears that there was something between Gabriel and Mikel Arteta. I don't know if it was that move to Saudi or if it was something, but it seemed like there was something off. It just didn't make sense that he wasn't starting. To me, I sort of understood why he was playing Partey at right back because, Zinchenko was out. He wanted someone to invert, and the only person he really trusted to do it was Thomas Partey. It was a poor decision. It was a poor decision, It didn't necessarily make us drop too many points, but we could just see we weren't playing that great. For me, if anyone in this back 4 is out, Tomiyasu is my man coming in. That's why it's so important that he stays healthy. He does suffer a lot of niggling injuries throughout the season so far in his Arsenal career, but his versatility is what puts him above everyone else. If it's Gabriel out, Saliba out, anyone out, I want Tomiyasu stepping in. For Japan, he looks like a world-class centre-back. For us, left-back, right-back looks dependable all the time. We saw that blistering run that he made against City that got us that goal. He's so athletic, he can do a bit of everything, good intelligence, good defender, and for me, he is our main backup for every single position. Besides that, I think we have an amazing defense already. I think these 2 guys are the best centre-back pairing in the league. Ben White is just always criminally underrated, probably even by myself on this channel. I think, he sort of gives me Nacho Monreal vibes, not necessarily in the way that he plays, because I think they're very different, but just the fact that, he's so dependable. He's going to give you at least a 7 out of 10 every single game. He's just consistent, plays through a quad strain or quad tear, was it? He's just always there, always dependable, always does his job. And Zinchenko, I think Arteta's sort of doing something where he's playing him around 60, 70 minutes and then bringing on Tomiyasu at the end to sort of shore up a game. And I think that's not a bad solution going forward. Zinchenko sort of gives us a little bit more dynamism on the ball, can put in a pass that just unlocks the entire defense, and then Tomiyasu can come, especially when they sort of bring in their super subs, and make sure we look a little bit more solid defensively. Now, we're heading into this midfield, and this is the midfield I want, and I hope this is where Arteta's going. I sort of made a little point where I said this should be the midfield against the big teams, but I'm going to double down and say this should be the midfield every game if they're healthy. I think, we sort of underrate Partey's ability to pass as well and aid the attack. You saw that passing for Tomiyasu against City. He can pick out a killer pass as well. And when we do this sort of trio in midfield, it's not going to take away from us attacking wise. Havertz has played there. He hasn't really done that much attacking wise, so it's not like we're taking levels down. I think this gives us a lot of pace, a lot of power, ability to dominate every midfield in the league, maybe even Europe, to be honest. Like, there's no midfield that comes up against this where I'm like, oof, I think we're going to have a long day. I think we can compete with anyone. But let me know, what do you think? Do you think we should maybe be going back to 2 attacking 8s? Do you like Partey in the 6, Rice at the 8? Let me know. So the midfield who's going to start is very easy. We all sort of know, I think most of us can agree, we want Odegaard, Rice, and Partey. Now the issue is, when do these guys play? Jorginho is fantastic. At times, does make some sloppy errors, but he's always dependable again. I think it's that key word we can use where he's a good squad player, but I think you can see when Partey comes in, there's levels there. There's levels. It's not the same, Partey can just, I don't know what it is. He makes it look so easy. He can just control the game, make it look like it's nothing, and just with such class. I think that's why he's one of the best DMs in the league. But for me, if it's a big 6 fixture or if it's a tough game away from home and let's say Partey's injured, I say we go Jorginho at the 6, Partey at the 8, and we keep it as similar as possible. Now, let's say it's sort of Partey injured or Rice is out for a game and we're against a team that maybe, sits back, low block, doesn't necessarily come at us, they're not going to press. I'm saying one of these two for that left-sided 8. Fabio Vieira has really impressed me in parts this season. His ability to whip in a ball perfectly, put it on someone's head, come into the game, be a super sub, change the game, has been really good. And I think against Everton, he played really well as well. Where I think he got found out a bit, especially at that left-sided 8, was against Tottenham. It was the first game where it was a team who really put it on us, who pressed us, who didn't just sit back like Everton and really not challenge us at all. They played physical and they bullied us, and I think Fabio Vieira got bullied that game. There was one moment where I'm pretty sure he got picked up and put off the field. Slightly exaggerated, but I just don't think he has that brutality, that physicality to play as that left 8. Havertz, to be honest, hasn't done much attacking wise, but defensively I think he's been pretty good, and we've never been overrun in midfield with him there. I think that was one of our biggest concerns. We all saw him come in, we're like, he doesn't have the defensive work to play Xhaka's role. He's done alright, won a lot of headers, cleared the ball a lot from the penalty area, he's won his duels, he's been putting his body on the line for blocks, etc. And so I'd be more willing to go towards Havertz if it's a team that sort of, they're going to be on the front foot, try and press. If they're playing back, I'd go straight with Fabio Vieira. But this leaves a bit of an uncomfortable conversation with Smith Rowe. What do we do with him? For me, I think he has to be Odegaard's backup. So anytime Odegaard's out, I think Smith Rowe should get the nod there. You can make a case for Fabio Vieira, but I think it might need to be between the two of them, because we need to see if we can get the best out of Smith Rowe again. If you remember a couple seasons ago, he got 10, 12 goals off the bench. He was flying. We all thought he was going to take that next step, but injuries have really stagnated him. So for me, next couple games, maybe Odegaard sits. Could be the Cups. It could be whatever. I think Smith Rowe should get a chance, see what he does. He does have an ability to carry the ball better than a lot of our other players. And we see where he's at. What's his physicality like? Is he match fit? Can he make an impact? If not, and unfortunately he's going to have to fall down that pecking order. Maybe Fabio Vieira or even Havertz sort of steps in to also replace Odegaard. That's my sort of thoughts on that midfield. Coming up to the attack, I think we all know what we want. It's Martinelli, Jesus, Saka, sort of like that perfect balance. And I think we need to start seeing this more often. I don't even want to hamp in on this too much. I feel like most of us would agree. Maybe some people would say Trossard over Martinelli, but I think at this point in the season, with Trossard's form, I don't think there would be that many saying that. So I'm just going to even skip this because we know Martinelli, Jesus, Saka is the three. We need them. That is it. Now, don't come at me. But there's been a lot of talk, Bukayo Saka needs a replacement, needs right wing depth, needs this. I agree, I don't think he should be playing this many games in a row. Of course, it's going to sort of affect him, especially later on in the season, and we've seen that the last couple seasons. Although, I'm going to contradict myself, and I do think that's a bit of an easy take because the whole team started performing poorly. And it's one of those things where if a team's not playing well, how do you expect one person to sort of come out of nowhere and constantly create magic, especially if you're not in the right positions to do so? So we're going to leave that talk for now, but I think going forward, if Saka ever needs a rest, I'm more than happy for Jesus to step out on the right. He did it against City. You saw his ability to play that position. I think that's where he did his best work at City as well. Sort of cutting in off that right, especially when people are coming in that left. He has the ability to find a good run, header at the back post or whatever it needs be. And he can also carry, he's got some skill about him. He can make something happen. And I think that's really important. Sorry. And I think Arteta just doesn't trust Nelson at this point to start these big games. So for me, it's got to be Jesus. Now, I know a lot of you probably looking at this guy, but I think as a backup striker, he gives us a different option. You can sort of go long to him. He can link up play with others. I think he should be our backup striker from now. At least give him a little bit of a run there. He hasn't done much in this left-sided 8 role. I'll give you that, especially attacking wise. But let's see if he can do something as a striker. Yes, it's failed at Chelsea, but I think we need to find a way to make something out of him. We invested so much into him, and we need to make it work. To be fair, the 2 games he's played at striker have both been very good. A lot of people are saying it's his best game, and I get it, maybe his best competitive games. For me, that friendly against Barcelona, I know it's just a friendly, but I thought that was the best I have personally seen of him in an Arsenal shirt. Yes, it doesn't count, it's a friendly, this and that, but I thought him in that left-sided 8, I thought I saw something. Guess I'm wrong. But we'll see. And then left wing, backup, has to be Trossard. Although does it? Maybe I'm about to contradict myself again. Because at the moment, he just doesn't look at it. I don't know if it's injury, I don't know if it's match fitness, match readiness, sharpness, whatever word you want to use. He just doesn't seem on it. He played that game at striker. I think it was against Fulham, was it? Didn't look great. Against Man City, to be fair, the ball never really came to him, but every time it didn't do anything with it. And I think he's going to have to start making a case for himself. Early on in the season and pre-season, he was fantastic, was on form, was looking good. His ability to finish was amazing, and he just needs to get back to that. Because, when he's ready, when he's at his level, I think he's one of our better players. I think he's definitely our best finisher. He sort of reminds me, I keep saying this, of a Santi Cazorla-esque winger. Ability to play with both feet, keep the ball tight, never loses it really. And I think we need to get him back to his levels as well. Now, last thing I'm going to talk about. Where does this leave our Hale N boys? It's sort of a hard thing because you want them to succeed, but then also if you're going for a title, are they good enough to consistently play? For me, it's weird because I think at the moment Reece Nelson's probably the one that's most deserving of some game time. And it's weird his sort of trajectory. He came in through the ranks as the next sort of prodigy even before Bukayo Saka. Everyone was like, Reece Nelson is gonna be that guy. And then just plateaued for ages, went to Germany on a few loans, came back, never really looked it. And then last season, came in a couple times, really made an impact. That Bournemouth one is sort of the standout, but he did that constantly last season when he came on. He made an impact. And I think, he deserves some game time. Looks like Arteta's sort of changing him from a right winger to a left winger, which is hard because we already have Martinelli, Trossard, Smith Rowe that play there, whereas right wing is our probably emptiest or least amount of depth that we have. So it's weird that he doesn't trust Nelson there, and I don't know why. But for me at the moment, he's the one that deserves to play the most. Smith Rowe is probably the most intriguing one. Like I said a couple seasons ago, 10, 12 goals off the bench, whatever it was. And he has an ability to carry with the ball and make something out of nothing and drive at opponents. And I think that's something we don't have enough. So we need to find a way to get him back. I don't know if it, again, like Trossard, match fitness, sharpness, whatever word you want to use, I don't know what it is, but I think we need to find a way to get him in. The problem is we don't really have many opportunities. In the league, you can't gamble games. Champions League, you can't gamble games. So it's going to have to be about waiting for FA Cup and Carabao Cup games for him to really impose himself. And I want to see urgency. When these guys get an opportunity, they're not in the pecking order at the moment. Maybe you can say Nketiah is, but they need to bloody show Arteta why they need to play. Not sort of be like, hey, look, I've done this, I've done that. Make a statement on why you should be starting week in, week out, or at least being a regular off that bench. And the last one, Nketiah, maybe a little bit harsh. I think away from home, I think he might be the better option. When we don't have the ball a lot, he does work his socks off. He presses like no other. He can be there to sort of nick a goal every now and then. But I just don't know. We've seen a lot of him. He's sort of been convincing in patches and then just goes through really massive dry spells where he doesn't make an impact. That's why I think we should start going with Havertz just to see something different. Just to start questioning the opponents in different ways. I think we're going to be too easy to figure out if Nketiah is always coming in or always playing. Just give them something to think about. But this is sort of my 11s with the depth chart or backups, whatever you want to call it. Let me know what you think of it down below. Love to hear your opinions. If you made it this far, you are an absolute real one. You might as well finish it off by liking and subscribing if you haven't already. This is my sort of rant over, not even a rant, but just getting everything off my chest. If you've liked it, like it. Gonna stop talking. Just gonna stop talking. That's it. We're done. I will see you in that next video. Peace.